Hey everybody, it's Gail, and I have the beginnings of the Bitchwhy 2026 project to show you. If you did not see my 5th Friday video in January, that's totally fine. I'm going to explain what the Bitchwhy project is. So the Bitchwhy project is something I started doing last year. I didn't end up recording any of it, but I identified a project I really wanted to make that I knew was going to annoy the absolute fuck out of me. And I was like, okay, but if I go in understanding that part of this project is that it's going to annoy the fuck out of me, it will annoy the fuck out of me less. You know what I mean? And so I did pick a project. I made some of it. And I have a finished skirt, but it is not the exact project I was trying to make. I wanted to make the project as it said on the pattern, but for various reasons it didn't work out. So this year I decided I wanted to do it again, and I chose this pattern. This is a dress from the 1950s made with Dritz straw art. So straw art, straw craft, there's a bunch of different names for it. Were all yarns in the 1950s that were meant to add some structure to your garments. So kind of, I've never actually found a skein of it to mess with myself, but I get the sense it's kind of like raffia now. So it's a little stiffer. It's going to hold shape a little better, which for those big 1950s skirts, totally understandable. I chose this because it's a gorgeous dress. I mean, look at it. And I love the detailing with the shell stitches standing up like that. But it is also in fingering weight yarn. And that is a lot of fingering weight yarn. And in fact, that's what this is. So bump that out. All right. So what I did, Dritz straw art is either a fingering weight yarn or it's a size 5 thread. I have it noted as both in my vintage yarn substitution list. And fingering weight and size 5 are actually very, very close. I would say size 5 is more of like a light fingering versus a regular fingering weight. Size 3 thread tends to match really well with regular fingering weight versus light fingering weight. So that's kind of the difference we're working with. What I did was I decided I was going to focus on getting a yarn that was going to give me a similar look and structure to that, what I think the straw art's going to look like based on the pattern photo. Based on pattern photos, I have other projects that use similar yarns. So I went with BC Garn Lino, which is a 100% linen yarn. And the pattern calls for a size 1 metal crochet hook, which my various conversion charts said was a 2. So a 2 millimeter. And I have already made some changes based on what I've done. So let me show you what it looks like to begin with. Hold on, I got to make sure I'm showing you the, yeah, okay. Ignore this one for now. Here is the original first skein I did. So the way this pattern works for the skirt is that you start with single crochet and then you work double, half double, double, and then you work triple down a lot of the skirt. And then you turn around and you come the other way and you work all the triples, all the doubles, all the half doubles, all the singles. And so the idea is that we are using the height of the stitches to create the shape of the skirt. So the skirt is going to get fuller as it comes down from the waist because the stitches are taller. So this looks great. I followed the pattern exactly. I forgot to do one thing. And that was to actually measure my chain when I was done making it to start this part. Because this is supposed to be 29 inches. This is not 29 inches. Now this, is 29 inches. And to give you an idea of how much more skirt I accidentally made, all of this right here is extra length. So I went, oh shit, right, you're supposed to measure when you do this. So then I thought, well, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to restart with this one. And we are going to do the original chain, measure it, and then take out what we need, because the instructions on the pattern do give you information about how to lengthen or shorten the skirt to whatever length you want. And so that's what I did. I went in and the original, I think 204 on the 2mm were this long. And then not only did I go in and measure to 29 inches and pull chains out, so this is actually 29 inches, I also dropped down to a 1.75 hook. And I did that because clearly the 2mm hook that is supposed to be the size 1 metal crochet hook it calls for is making it too large. So the 1.75 also made it too large, but I also like how the 1.75 stitches look better than how they look here. And also, while the 1.75 did lead to the skirts still being too long if you use the number of chain stitches the pattern recommends, I do still have more stitches here that I can use than if I had done this in 2mm and stopped at 29 inches. So this is still, my goal was to get as many of the triple crochets as I could, because that's what's going to really bring the fullness of the skirt out. And so the more of those I have coming down, the poofier the skirt is at the bottom. So you might have noticed when I just brought this up to you, this is all back loop only. And we are going to work this until this part is 2 inches past the waist measurement. So it doesn't give you a waist measurement. You're just supposed to make it until 2 inches past your waist measurement. I love this, by the way, because it's just easier to work on it and not have to worry that my measurements are going to cause a problem. I am curious. I think what's probably going to happen is the 2 inches past the waist measurement, what you're going to do is then bring that in to help further poof out the skirt. So that's why they have you go past your waist measurement, is because then you can work some decreases on the waistband to pop it in and really get, the big bell shape we're going for. So yeah, this is one skein of it. This is as wide as it is right now. My waist is 35 inches. It's in flux right now. So I'm probably going to aim for 37 just so that I'm covered. So once this gets to 37 inches, all of this will be done, and this bottom part will be very, very large. So I'm going to go get back to work on this, and you will see me again when I have an update. This is not going to be part of the regular video posts. This will just be posted as I'm working on it, and we'll see how long it takes. Anyway, yep, I will let you know how it goes, and I will see you soon. If you enjoy what I do here, please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, all of that fun stuff. And of course, I will see you when I see you.